All right, so Eric, that last segment was so much fun. This one's not going to be fun. Let me tell you. Uh, where do we even start? Steve's celebration of life was July 15th. Eric, you will never know what it meant to me personally. For you, you flew down
I did.
with your son and daughter. You flew down just to give the invocation at Steve's celebration. So you were there. You were at this event, and I mean, you can testify. It went off without a hitch. I thought it
It
went
was
really,
wonderful.
really well.
Yeah, it
And
was wonderful.
to see all the racers who showed up, Larry McReynolds, Lynn Wood, Jeff Hammond. I mean, there were just so many racers there who once were covered by Steve. And I was really humbled by that. Now, at the end, I felt the whole day, I felt perfectly fine. Although at the end, I was really tired, but I'm always tired. I'm always exhausted after being in a big group like that. I typically have to decompress after doing an interview or recording like this via Zoom for the podcast because I've talked for an hour. Yeah, Jeannie tells me that I do about 90% of my talking for the week on the podcast because
Mhm.
my normal operating system is quiet. I'm just
Yeah,
kind of laid back. I'm an introvert. All right. Now, later Wednesday, you and me and Jeannie and Adam and Mackenzie and you and your kids, we went to dinner.
we went to dinner.
And
What? Yeah,
it
we
was
went to dinner.
it was perfectly fine. Had a great time.
Yeah.
So that night, I had a couple of twinges in my side as I was going to bed. I'm 58 years old, so I'm used to twinges as I go to bed and get up out of bed. And I woke up in the middle of the night and moved to my recliner, but I always do that. I always do that. Every day of the world, I do that. I woke up that Thursday morning and Eric, I couldn't take a deep breath because of this bad pain in my side. Went to our family doctor to see a nurse practitioner. To see a nurse practitioner. She sent us to the emergency room because she thought that it was diverticulitis or something like that. Got to the emergency room and they started talking about pulmonary embolism, and then they talked about pancreatitis. But then I went and had a CT scan. And when I did the CT scan, my phone dinged and said that my report was back on my chart, which is, kind of a cool thing for our doctors. We can kind of keep up with our test results and everything. And when I saw that report, I recognized two words. One was malignancy, and the other was metastasized. And I handed Jeannie my phone to show her. Her eyes got big around, and I called you,
Mhm.
because you and your family are going through a journey right now with your wife and with you. And you kind of explained what was going on as best you could. And, there wasn't a lot of, I've said there wasn't a whole lot of fuzz on the peach of what you said. You gave it to me pretty straightforward. And then the
Mhm.
doctor came in, he lowered the boom and he said, it looks like you've got pancreatic cancer that has spread to your liver. And, the rest of that day, man, you actually offered to come and pray with me and my
Yeah.
family, and because you were still in North Carolina, and I told you that we hadn't talked to the boys yet because I didn't want somehow, some way, for whatever reason, for them to somehow find out. Certainly, we didn't go. We hadn't told the boys, and of course, that was really emotional. I had a MRI the following Sunday. I had an I had an MRI the following Sunday, and Eric, I was in that tube for an hour. Now,
Mhm.
luckily, I don't have any issues with claustrophobia or whatever. At one point, I actually kind of sort of started to doze off, and then the table kind of moved and jarred me back awake. And I knew that they were looking at something because they were just, it seemed to be really precise. They'd move the table an inch or two, and they would take a picture, and then they would move the table an inch or two. And then the whole thing seemed like it was taking off for some space mission or something. I mean, the whole thing would shake. And my first appointment at the oncologist's office was Wednesday, and he confirmed that it is, in fact, stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And I, Eric, the crazy thing is that I have not gotten spun out completely. Now, of course, this is a whole new dimension to our lives, but I have not got spun out. I have not had a just a fall down, curl up in a fetal position, crying jag. I have not. I don't know. I have not gotten completely overwhelmed by the whole thing. I don't want to say I've not been overwhelmed because I have been overwhelmed. Well, I've been overwhelmed with people's reactions and everything, but I'm not scared. I'm not scared because I know where I'm going. When I whether it's next month or next year or 20 years from now, I'm going home and I'm going to get to see my mama again, and I'm going to get to tell her all about her grandbabies, and I'm going to get to tell her about Jeannie, and I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that. But until then, I think right now, and it sounds bad to say it, I'm more afraid of life than I am of dying because I've got surgery tomorrow for a port to be installed. And in my mind, that's when it becomes real because, since then, it has all been in theory. You've got cancer, but I feel fine. I don't feel any different than I did the day of Steve's deal. I don't feel any different. I don't feel any pain. I'm not hurt. But I have a port installed tomorrow, and I think that's when it's going to become quite real, because that's going to be an ever present reminder that things aren't the way that they used to be. I've got a biopsy Thursday. My first chemo treatment is scheduled from a week for my first chemo treatment is scheduled for a week from Wednesday. Just this morning, just this morning, I got a long list of prescriptions of medications to kind of ward off some of the after effects. So I, Eric, I don't know, man. You
Well,
you tell me what I'm supposed to be feeling right now, and that's what I'll do.
well, so Rick, when you first called me and you had received basically the rundown of what they had found, right? And when you read it to me, I was in the car. My kids and I had just been to an amusement park down there in Carolina, and we were on our way back. And you read the findings from your initial scan, and I recognized all those words because my wife is in stage 4 cancer. We're in the middle of radiation treatment now. She's been on different treatments for the last couple of years, but I recognized all those words because unfortunately I've had to do research, and my heart sank because I knew what you were reading, and I knew that you had done a few minutes of research using artificial intelligence to try to figure out what was
Now,
going on.
I
Because
have I have to say this. I did a screen capture of the findings from
yeah.
off of my chart or whatever, and I loaded that onto Grok. All right, and so Grok did. Yeah, Grok. According to Grok, I'm already dead. So right now, I feel like I'm ahead of the ball game. Uh, don't ever. And Eric, I can tell you that's the last time that I've looked on the internet about anything.
Yeah.
I have not in any way done research into alternative medicine. I'm not interested in alternative medicine right now. I'm not chasing miracle cures. I'm not Eric, of course. I want to be around for my wife and kids, but I'm not going to chase something that may or may not work because I
Right.
mean, I've been through that. I've been through that drill many times with weight loss. I mean, there are a zillion foolproof ways to lose weight. And unless it works for you, yeah, you can
Yeah.
just throw all that crap to the wind. And I intend to do the same thing about cancer. I'm not going to chase my tail on this
Yeah.
thing. I'm going to listen to what the doctors say, and I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it. I'm not
Yeah.
giving in, but I'm also going to be realistic.
Yeah.
And I want to be an example, to whoever might be going through something like this. You don't have to be afraid right now in something like this. So that's Eric. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Rick. You and my wife are very similar in that she doesn't want to be a burden to anybody. She doesn't feel bad either, right? Every day she lives her life to the best. She's still teaching at the elementary school where she teaches, and she's like, as long as I feel good, I keep going. And she tells me not to worry because I worry too much. I'm the one that does all the research on the internet. I probably shouldn't, right? But I, Rick, I will tell you that there's not a moment in the last 2 weeks that I haven't thought about you because I've lived this life for the last 5 years now. My wife's birthday is on Friday, and she was diagnosed 5 years ago, the day before her birthday. So she's, we're approaching a milestone here. I don't like to talk about those milestones because when you get to the even years, those are when the experts run statistics. Right. And I don't like to read the statistics of what happens because everybody's different. Nobody's average. And I told you that before. And so we live life, and God gives us a certain amount of time on this planet to do a certain amount of things with people he puts in our path. And you're doing those things, Rick, and don't stop. Keep going. Keep going. And
Well,
I'm right there with you, bud.
I
I'm right
can
there with you.
I can also tell you that there's a part of me that's like, okay, I am talked out
Yeah.
because again, I feel perfectly fine. I don't feel sick. I don't feel like I have this thing hanging over my head, and I don't want to talk about cancer anymore. However, it's a part of my story now.
It is.
And right now, I want to get on with the program and start. And right now, I want to get on with the program and start attacking the cancer rather than being at its mercy. And whatever happens, happens. I'm 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 tired of worrying about it. I'm 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 ready to get on with the program and and
Yeah.
and face what does happen.
Hmm.
Even though I'm nervous. I'm nervous about how I'm going to handle it. Because as men, real men, they don't show any pain, they don't show any emotion or whatever. But that's in theory. This is real life. So how am I going to react to all this? And to be honest with you, Jeannie and Adam and Jesse and you and so many other people, they have been so well. Adam and Jesse and Jeannie. I mean, that's my immediate family. That's my core. That's my people. And if anything, I feel so bad for putting them through all this. I mean, Adam just got married. He and his wife are still newlyweds. And I have thrown this huge monkey wrench into their early married life. And you know, obviously that can't be easy. Adam starts school next month to go back to school to pursue. My son Adam is pursuing a doctorate in finance. And so if not, this is the way my brain thinks. You know, when 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 he gets his doctorate in finance and he takes over some bank somewhere or some school as the whatever, and he starts bringing in the big bucks. I want to see the day when my Christmas presents start getting more expensive. And when I'm talking expensive, I'm talking bucks. I'm talking at least three figures, if not four. All right. I want to. Yeah, I said it, and I'm not taking it back.
That's fantastic.
You know,
That
and
is
so you know
fantastic.
that's just where I'm at right now. Now, finally, Eric, what does all this mean for the podcast and the YouTube channel? The podcast is not going anywhere. There may come a day when the format changes and we just do two segment or we just do the interview segment and then kind of break it down and then that's it. There may come a day that I don't know. Again, I don't know what the future holds. The YouTube channel, I don't know because well, to be honest with you, it's our biggest source of income on the podcast right
Mhm.
now, just because of the views and everything that we get, uh, and the shorts that we get, you know, backing from. It's our biggest source of revenue, but it's also by far the biggest amount of effort. And so I don't know what's going to happen with the YouTube channel. And to be honest with you, I posted something. I posted a video last week of Steve's memorial service. I pieced that together from the audio and photos and a few things that I had on hand. And to be honest with you, the YouTube channel, um, I don't want it to fall by the wayside because we put a lot of work into it. I just don't know what's going to happen, and to sit down and put that kind of attention in detail to scripts and storylines and cutting the videos and editing the videos and cutting the clips out. I don't know. Eric, I will say this. If anybody's out there with a passion for NASCAR history, I would consider selling the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know. At this point, everything's just so up in the air. I don't know. But it's not something I'm going to invest. It's not something that I'm going to invest a lot of energy in to worrying about. Because things have a way of happening. And right
Mhm.
now, the YouTube channel is the YouTube channel is the least of my worries. And um, the podcast isn't going anywhere for no other reason than the support that I get. Not financial, but the support that I get from people like you. If it wasn't for the podcast, Eric, you and I wouldn't have reconnected.
Mhm.
And I have so many friends from across the country because of the podcast. And I'm not willing to give that up because in our little corner of the world, I feel like we are a community, and not just when it comes to NASCAR. I've formed friendships and I've formed relationships with people from across the country. So, the podcast isn't going where. YouTube channel kind of up in the air right now. Um, I don't know. That's enough said about all that. Um, so Eric, yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I'm at when it comes to the podcasting and YouTube.
I can truly appreciate it. And you're absolutely right, Rick. This is a community. It's related to NASCAR. NASCAR brought us together. Not just you and I. I'm talking about all of those people that you have connected with over the last couple of years, doing the podcast, doing the YouTube videos, and we support you. We're going to continue to do all the things we can do together. As you know, I'm here for you, and I'm sure there are 100 other people that are right there with me. Said, Rick, you just let us know whatever you need, and we're going to keep moving forward. You are going to keep moving forward. I'm going to be whatever I can do for you, with you. Um, I'm glad to be here today. This is special to me because again, you and I we've really bonded over the last few years through this, not Zoom, through all of this, whether it was getting the papers scanned and trying to get them online, the LW Wright stuff, right?
You,
Whether it,
Eric, you can admit it. There were a few times during that process of getting the paper scanned and that news scanner in particular. You can say it. You would have rather I'd fallen off the face of the earth at that point. You were like, shut up about this stupid scanner. Just press the freaking button.
I wasn't expecting to be tech support. That wasn't really what I was expecting, but you know what? I'm okay with it. That's a thing. But the folks that we've connected with, and all of that means so much to me that you invested in me. You invested in me and so many others to bring the stories to life for the people that are listening, that are watching, and that cannot be understated. That you and Steve, again, I don't want to leave Steve out, have recreated a community that used to only exist inside a fence, inside a blacktop oval somewhere. And so you've helped to create that community.